It is the penultimate weekend of action in the USL Championship regular season. Tonight's match presented by Charleston Southern University, the Lowcountry's only Christian university. Flexible, affordable, faith-filled. Learn more today at charlestonsouthern.edu and find your passport to purpose. Charleston taking on Detroit. Eric Dobransky joins me in a moment. Mike Watts on hand. And the Eastern Conference standings lay out pretty simply right now. Detroit win and in. We chat about them in a moment. For Charleston, they're too far away from Louisville to catch them. They are too far away from Hartford to be caught. The number 2 seed awaiting the number 7 in the quarterfinal round in 2 weeks' time. Now the Battery are coming off a 5-0 win against the defending champion Switchbacks, a game that spanned multiple days but did provide a milestone moment. For more on Charleston's debut goal scorer, now the team rallied around its youngest player. Let's join Izzy Sullivan.
Monday was a huge day for the Charleston Battery, and not just because of their dominant 5-0 win over the reigning league champs, but also because of 17-year-old Vigo Ortiz. The young star made his league debut in the 82nd minute and scored his first professional goal just a minute later. Ortiz said it was one of the biggest moments of his life, and the reaction from his teammates said just that. You could see how excited every single person on the team was. I mean, look at them celebrating him after the game. The brotherhood within the squad is truly something special. They have been performing so well all season long. They just tied their record for regular season wins in their championship era, and a huge reason why is because of the brotherhood and camaraderie they have built on the pitch and within the locker room. It's that brotherhood that's going to continue fueling their success heading into the postseason.
Thank you, Izzy. Appreciate it. Now, Eric, I turn to you. Cal Jennings gets all the headlines. MD Myers has had a great year. He's tonight's Fleet Feet player to watch.
And he presents such a unique challenge to opponents because of the work that he does underneath Cal Jennings, the way that he can, that striker's mindset, he's so clever, the way he operates and the runs off in front of him complements that ability to exploit space with his playmaking and finishing. He can change a game in a moment.
So the doctor is in for Charleston. Meanwhile, Detroit hoping that they're not on life support. It's simple, though. If they win this week or next week against Tampa Bay, they're in.
And that's something that you ask a lot of teams across the league. They would love to say that this time of year, put together a performance that earns a result, and you get an opportunity to play in the playoffs.
So Detroit City will try and carry some momentum out of tonight. And who knows, maybe this is a quarterfinal matchup in 2 weeks' time. It is the Charleston Battery at home. They'll get a chance to knock off Detroit and put them on the brink. Lineups and kickoff when we return to Lowcountry.
Hola.
¿Alguna otra cerveza?
No, me quedo ultra.
Ok, ahora vuelvo.
I can...
Mr. Messi.
Make it look ultra. Cerveza light superior.
Dance like nobody's watching. Except when people are watching, like your roommate and the new boyfriend you forgot she was bringing over. Believe in yourself. But know your limits, because right before an interview really isn't the time to try being a hairstylist. Anything is possible. So yes, winning is possible, but so is not winning, which means sometimes the best way to play actually is to save some possibility for another day. The South Carolina Education Lottery, supporting better players and a better you.
Return to the field. Score the winning shot. Beat your personal record. Team up with MUSC Health Sports Medicine for all your sports-related injury care and rehabilitation. MUSC Health is the official sports medicine provider for your favorite local teams. From semi-pro athletes to weekend warriors, our sports medicine team provides state-of-the-art injury prevention, treatment, surgery, and rehabilitation for athletes of all ages. Go where the pros go. Schedule an appointment today.
Tees it up, Malloy! What a strike!
And it's a free header, and it's the opening goal! Joey Afanonu! Landry, are you kidding me? Rodriguez! It's in!
The USL on CBS is presented by Best Western Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel partner of the United Soccer League. Penultimate weekend of this USL Championship season. Starting lineups tonight are brought to you by Mick Ultra. And for Charleston there, without Emilio Icaza and Juan David Torres, Segbers coming into the 11.
Yeah, and this is a match that will be influenced by that second phase of play, putting themselves in the right areas to get back on the ball. Aaron Malloy and Josu Landry in midfield will be key, the way they connect these lines. Then in the wide channels, Blackstock and Segbers, their dual role in this match, winning their defensive matchups, but also getting themselves in advanced areas in the attack.
And meanwhile, take a look at the starting 11 tonight for Detroit, and they've made some pretty surprising moves. Villanueva, Carroll, Cedeno, Williams, all to the bench.
And they're going to lean on Darren Smith up top, their team leading 10 goals. Be that sustained threat that can stretch Charleston and create some space. And if that space then opens up, watch out for the impact of Sebastian Guenzati. His deceptive movement, his crafty play can definitely unlock opportunities. And then Herrera in goal, he'll guide that area in front of him, try to catch Charleston in transition.
Tonight's walkout is sponsored by The Ideal Life, the title sponsor of the Charleston Battery. Fun game coming up here this evening, Eric. If you are Charleston, you've already set your seeding, and so what's left to gain other than momentum and maybe a shot across the bow against a Detroit team that you could well see? Conversely, if you're Detroit, it's winning in.
Yeah, you're going to feel that desperation from Detroit City for sure. They're going to play with that urgency. They know what is on the line.
We'll see if that urgency comes to the fore here tonight. The players have arrived perhaps a little bit later than anticipated. Handshakes now. And the Battery have only lost once on home ground all season. Their home opener against Louisville. Try and continue that positive run of form, 12 unbeaten on home ground. It's a game here for Charleston where, you know, you've already set the standings. You sort of get the feeling in speaking to Ben Pierman, they're not a let off the gas type. I mean, they're here to score as many as they can and try and put Detroit to the sword.
And Mike, you bring up a great point because it's so fascinating as you take this journey with these teams and these coaches through the regular season, the 30 games. You have that approach and you hear it from a lot of coaches, one game at a time. What's the next game? And when you have that approach and you come towards the end of a season, you have 2 games left, obviously this being the first of the next 2, but if that's your approach throughout the season, that then has to be the approach to end the season. Because if you're going into each game saying, hey, we're going to put our best foot forward, we are going to try to play with energy, we're going to play front-footed, and this is our identity, making sure you do that game after game and putting the best rotation together.
Conversely, for Detroit, really big surprise right here before kickoff. Ryan Williams has been inserted into the starting 11. He was not in the initial roster. We're told that Colby Hernandez Foster is ineligible to play tonight, and so he is no longer on the bench, and Williams is starting. I actually have had one other instance similar to this earlier this year in the NWSL, and here's where the rule gets hinky. When did that decision come? Because once you leave from warm-ups and you make a change, it counts as a sub window and a utilized sub, as opposed to if it occurs during warm-ups and you announce it to the other team, in which case it does not. So this is something we're going to try and figure out over the course of the next few minutes and get an idea whether or not already Detroit plays at a disadvantage losing Colby Hernandez Foster, but are they playing with one sub tied behind their back?
Yeah, that's a great point. Now you make that change, and not only does it change your depth, but does it now change the substitution patterns?
Saw Danny Dicchio there a moment ago. peek inside the huddle for Charleston. Danny Dicchio's second season at the helm for Detroit City. 5 games above the 500 mark. You know, he was a DJ part-time while he was playing overseas. I asked him, what's the song you would use to describe the Detroit season at this point? He's quick to say either Unfinished Symphony, and then he thought a little bit longer and he said, maybe Between a Rock and a Hard Place. Injuries and an up and down season of form. We'll find out whether they can come up with a season-sealing win that will push them into the playoffs here tonight. First touch belongs to Arturo Rodriguez, and here we go. Patriots point in the Low Country. It is Charleston taking on Detroit. The race to the playoffs for Charleston has been settled. They will be the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs, and that race to the playoffs could well end tonight for Detroit with a win. It pushed them over the line. You know, I was talking with Danny Dicchio yesterday, and I said, look, I'm sort of doing the math here. You have the tiebreaker on Indy. You've got Tampa Bay 5 points back with 2 to go. Next week, same deal, right? Does it take any pressure off having to get something here in Charleston? And he goes, 1 game at a time. We're not looking at the fact that we can clinch next week when we can clinch tomorrow night.
Yeah, and that's the approach that he and his players are going to have to take, especially playing a team that is offensively firing on so many cylinders as the Charleston Battery. I mean, look at Cal Jennings leading the Golden Boot race. Obviously, we highlighted MD Myers in the Open.
He's in third. I mean, he could catch him with a hat trick tonight. Not that Detroit seeds a lot of hat tricks.
Yeah, and yeah, defensively, Detroit City has been what they typically are, very difficult to break down. It's been about the goal creation and the conversion rate for them throughout the season, and they've put a lot of pressure on themselves in a lot of matches defensively. When you have to see out games for 90 minutes and make sure that you are that locked in, it doesn't necessarily always play itself or lend itself to an open flow offensively.
Blackstock allows this out over the line as Yamazaki played it over. There's Ben Pierman, former head coach for Detroit City in their NPSL days. His 3rd year for Charleston, coming over from Memphis, and has made himself one of the elite coaches in the championship, no doubt.
And with a win tonight, Charleston would eclipse the regular season record of wins in a season, and in a season that we've played 4 less games.
They get that job done in 29 games. Previously, as many as 34 games in championship seasons past. Ball sent long for Blackstock. Ball held in away from Yamazaki. Apanonu. Sue Landry. Archer. It's easy work for Leland Archer. Hammers the diagonal, seeking Rodriguez. Ball got knocked down by Wheat. Blackstock kept it moving. Rodriguez clips the cross. Amu Mensah nods it further. Segbers, ball caught at the feet of Carlos Herrera, and he hangs on.
And that sequence right there is initiated by that second wave, that second phase of play for the Charleston Battery, able to recoup possession and immediately charge down the field. And when you recoup possession that high up the field, you already have the numbers to get them in the box. You flood that area. Good intervention there by Carlos Herrera, keeping that ball out of the back of the net. It's kind of some of those early warning shots you get when you this early in a game. Kind of settles you in a bit more. You kind of know that you've gotten away with one.
Ball glides by Malloy and comes down to Diouf. Sent in behind. Zamudio controls. Time now for tonight's MUSC injury report. Zemka remains out for Charleston. They saw Emilio Icaza pick up a knock this week, and so he is unavailable for selection. Juan David Torres is unavailable. Allen, Soto, Drac, Kelly among those not selected tonight. Rubio Rabin away with Guatemala. Yellow card shown here. Notably out for Detroit, Polisi, Rutz, Morris, and Reese Williams.
Michael Bryant stepping into that space.
MD Myers with the kick out.
It is an early booking for MD Myers. Somebody that does play with the physicality. Some of those late arriving runs in the box where you're dealing with a lot of numbers, a lot of chaos.
You might sit there and go, well, it's only your striker. I mean, how bad can a yellow card be? For Charleston, it is a problem. Ryan Williams was scheduled to come off the bench tonight, and a very late add to the lineup due to a scratch for Kobe Hernandez Foster. Lobbed into the penalty area, nodded away. Landry, and a touch into space. Isaiah LaFleur.
And I know we saw MD Myers pick up the yellow, but this is going to be an area for Detroit City and Charleston. Who can control the wide spaces, and can you slow down some of the transition moments that Charleston can exploit when you do have that heavy overload and that heavy influence from those wide players?
Mudio touches away from an on-rushing Darren Smith. Off the head of Rodriguez. And already a rather combative start. This out for a corner. Turo has already eclipsed the number of starts he had a season ago. This corner brought to you by the Pepper Law Firm, the official legal services provider of the Battery. Aaron Malloy. Hang service backside, looping a header. Herrera leaps up to snag it.
You already see some of that physicality from MD Myers. Mentioned what picking up that early yellow means. He's still getting into those big altercations in the box that get him first contact. Aaron Malloy just continues to be that set piece threat for the Charleston Battery throughout this season. Scored the opener on Monday against the defending champions, Colorado Springs Switchbacks, off a deflected free kick of his. Came off, the defenders came right back, and he was decisive and lethal with that second action.
Ball hung across. Contact over the back of Blackstock. And a Yamazaki injury may require an additional look from the referee.
This clipped ball in. Players just going up for it, but it does seem to be that next layer of the play. Catches Yamazaki. For a team that has dealt with so many injuries this season. I know there's only 2 games left, but this is going to be a big part of it for Detroit City FC. The ability to see the availability from game to game, but also be extremely effective.
Mensah bangs it long. Turns into the path of Aaron Malloy. Landry. eFootball is here. Live your dream. Rep your team and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. We do have an update on the potential substitution issue before the game. The change occurred during warm-ups. Kobe Hernandez Foster is available for selection, I believe. And more importantly, as we come to understand it, this did not count as a sub or a substitution window.
So both positives for Detroit City. Availability, and you don't lose the substitution window.
In a really weird situation that we just saw something occur a couple weeks ago with Las Vegas. Get to that in a moment. Ball picked up by Smith. Dishes outside for Seba Guinzati. And this struck from range. A lot of pace on it, but Zamudio controls it. They fielded an ineligible player who is not a part of their 23-man roster, which was the first question I had, whether that was something that had occurred. I've only seen that twice in my years in the championship. The other, Ioze, the great outside back for Indy 11 for so many years, was suspended for a game. They had to pull him off the 23, but forgot to reinsert him. And so they had to pull Ioze shortly before kickoff of a game a handful of years ago. And ultimately, it was the director of soccer ops at Las Vegas who fell on the sword in that instance. In this instance, apparently there's no sword to fall on. Although Herrera falls on that.
And luckily, it didn't necessarily impact what points were accumulated from that match, because it did go down as a 3-0. It was a 3-1 result. So obviously the goal scorers are going to be a little offended with the forfeit, because those are some stats that will not count towards their season.
No, but you're still paying that goal bonus, right?
Yeah.
I hope so. If you want to sow discord in the locker room, stop paying the goal bonus. Wait for Blackstock. Hey, real quick, how about we take a look at tonight's keys to the game? They're presented by Cruise Subaru, the official automotive dealer of the Battery. You want to see Charleston manage both boxes.
Yeah, there's going to be plays there to be made. Obviously, defensively, this is a team that has found balance in both boxes. They've defended well. They have 7 clean sheets on the season, but also what they continue to do in the attack. And for Detroit City, controlling second actions, because I think with as expansive as the Charleston Battery play on the ball, as you see, can you pick up some of these second phases, the second wave, moments like this where you get dispossessed and you can go, and you then take that advantage.
Williams playing this through, lashed across the face of goal by Darren Smith and out. Smith, a double-digit goal scorer this year, 10 through 26 games. And yet, when you talk to Danny Dicchio, a forward, of course, in his playing career, said there's more to Smith than just 10 goals.
And I would dare to say that Darren Smith agrees with that.
Yeah.
I think the performances and the chance creation are there. Now it's about putting it all together. And we talked to Danny Dicchio this week. Obviously, the goals is the element that, and I don't want to put it all on the attack, because obviously everything is collective. How you defend, how you attack. but he'd also mentioned kind of missing that assassin's touch, that finish that some of these teams are getting, that final quality, that ruthlessness that you need in the box, and that's something that they're just continuing to develop and build.
Big diagonal to Yamazaki, was able to get ahead to this out for a corner kick. That's another Pepper Law Firm corner kick for the Battery. And if Cal Jennings grew on trees, everyone would have one. There's a reason he's a rather singular quantity in this league. Among the front runners for the MVP. I'd say Taylor Davila's probably in that mix. MD Myers on another roster probably gets that look. Corner here for the Battery. And the wild thing is, if Myers took half the penalties, he would lead the Golden Boot race. But, you know, it's been that kind of year where you've seen Cal Jennings pile up 7 of his 16 goals at the spot.
Yeah, MD Myers matching his 2024 total thus far with the 14 goals, and obviously 2024 was the season that we all saw Nick Marcanic take home the Golden Boot.
Drifting header away, out to Smith. "16 minutes in, winning in Herrera. That's an iffy touch. Able to get it away. Malloy turns, scoops it out of play. That became very helter-skelter for Carlos Herrera.
And you have to enjoy the idea from Aaron Malloy, just missing the execution. Just a misplay from Carlos Herrera, trying to get it out of the back, and luckily they get away unscathed, and it's still 0-0, but another turnover.
Give away to Landry. Malloy returns. Now Landry has a pocket. He'll go for goal. That got blocked. Herrera dove for it. Leading scoring team in the championship. It has been 14 goals over 5 games, including 5 on the reigning champion on Monday, in a game that ended up being abandoned and restarted a few days later against Colorado Springs.
And a theme and a trend that we kind of come accustomed to when we watch Charleston Battery. Unique goal scorers, 5 goals, 5 different goal scorers. Obviously Aaron Malloy with the goal, but also the 2 assists in that match, so heavy impact. But you saw Josu Landry step in and take a shot from distance early. Now you get involvement from Aaron Malloy and Josu Landry. You start to pull this back line apart as we see an attack from Detroit City.
Doof, Chapman. Tell you that Battery matches are the perfect place to make lifelong memories with your friends and family. A group of 10 or more can enjoy discounted tickets, exclusive on-field experiences, and private hospitality areas to catch the match. You can visit charlestonbattery.com to learn more. Plan a memorable night at Patriots Point.
I know those shots from distance. I know that recent one from Jay Chapman, but obviously we've seen one from Aaron Malloy. We've seen one from Josu Landry. I know they tend to be seen as wasteful in some instances where you have the box flooded with numbers, you have good runs, and you have good areas occupied. And obviously when they hit the back of the net, they're always one of the top plays. But they do build into how a team can attack the final third. When you lack that space, that 30 yards and in, the ability to move defenders and threaten in different ways. I mean, you do put that in the back of the mind of a back line. When they see some midfielders step in, late arrivals, taking a rip from distance, you do have that sense where, oh, I need to step a bit quicker. I need to get there. I need to get touch tight. And then now you start to be able to access some of the space in behind. Now you get some of these runners. get the back line to start stepping a bit higher. Really can have a heavy influence on how games are played early on and as they go deeper.
Confirmed, Eric Dobransky says pull the trigger.
I'm the person on the sideline saying shoot.
Yeah, like a Red Wings power play. Shoot.
I'll add in upgrade occasionally.
Sure.
Don't shoot, upgrade. And that's what it does, gives you the ability to.
Jennings trying to step to this, able to swing through with it. Bypasses Amu Mensah, leads it back toward Myers, and gets cleared out. So nervy moments for Detroit against a Charleston attack that's been relentless for the last month.
Detroit City playing with fire. They've had some careless turnovers that have almost led to big opportunities for Charleston Battery. Have done a good job of being collective with getting back behind the ball, but they've kind of already been in that position now, having to deal with another corner from Aaron Malloy.
Pepper Law Firm corner kick, Malloy. That runs out. Hey, the USL on the CBS Sports Network closes out October. The Championship Western Conference Showdown. Playoff-bound New Mexico take on the Oakland Roots. You can see it tomorrow, October 19th, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, only on the CBS Sports Network. Douglas Martinez, make that Diouf. Beg your pardon, brought down by Martinez. Douglas Martinez, outside back.
Yeah, the versatility there, and he comes right through the back of Diouf and pleading to not get a yellow, because it does seem that that was kind of the initial reaction.
Get the feeling if you're Martinez, the front line is so set right now, and with the injuries they've suffered further back on the field, versatility is your path to the pitch every week right now. I'm a little surprised with Segbers in the lineup that we continue to see Martinez there. That is a position that Segbers has frequented in the past, that right back spot. There's Segbers in the middle of your screen.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I think adaptability and flexibility is something that the Charleston Battery have certainly highlighted throughout the season. Obviously, we see it with the ability of MD Myers to play beneath. I mean, you see it with their wide play.
Shane Wheat. And they're a small roster by any standard. If you can't play multiple positions, you put yourself at a huge disadvantage within this group.
And that's a key to their identity, the sustainability of the success they've seen year after year under Ben Pierman has been that identity of being flexible, being adaptable, and then obviously he continues to talk about that selfless nature of their players, and that is another element that just continues to shine so brightly from this side. Every player understanding, accepting their role in regards to recognizing how important it is as this team moves forward. Yes, they've had a terrific regular season. Mentioned they're 1 win away from setting a regular season wins mark. But this is a team that has further ambitions.
By the way, I just pulled up the official rules for the journey to the final. I'm not eligible, and neither are you.
What made us ineligible?
Given everything that's happened tonight, I'm not touching that with a 100-foot pole. You're in the lineup, Eric. That's another foul suffered by Husu Landry, who's had about enough of that. Amit Kalia is the referee this evening. Detroit hoping that there is a journey that leads them to the final on November 22nd on CBS. For it to be a Keyworth would take a pretty unbelievable series of occurrences. But for them to get there, that path at this stage take them to Louisville or Charleston, assuming they do get into the field at all. A win today would do it. A win against Tampa Bay next week can do it as well. Archer have to put too much meat on the bone there, and Smith was more than happy to try and run it down.
And for Detroit City, holding that advantage against Indy 11 is huge coming down this stretch. They have that one win, that one draw. I know that one draw on the road at Indy 11 was probably tough to accept at the time, because that was a game that saw Detroit City go up 2-0 and concede a late goal to only leave with a point. But now you look back at it and you do have full control over your playoff destiny.
Well, if Detroit makes it, they will be a 5 seed or lower. They cannot host a first-round home game. That is a card. Tackle suffered by Malloy. Williams and Smith need to be careful here, because Smith just put his hand on the referee's shoulder as well. Now Yamazaki having words about it. And MD Myers and Smith having a discussion.
Yeah, this is where collectively you just need to get away, let calmer heads prevail, as you see the tackle from Ryan Williams. He's trying to explain the timing and the tackle itself, but it's already accumulated the yellow. There's no way you're going to talk that back.
They're in some way, I guess, making peace here.
This is typically where you're trying to make the conversation where the next tackle is not another yellow.
That injury stoppage brought to you by MUSC Sports Medicine. And Malloy, who just got his ankle rolled up on, is also the set piece taker. Free kick scoring opportunity is brought to you by Pro Lift Garage Doors. Well, all right. Malloy not helping us pay the bills, is he? Lost by Rodriguez. Good pressure from Detroit. Detroit 1 win in 5. If you look at this stretch for them, this is an 8th consecutive game against teams currently above the playoff line. Murderer's row down the stretch. Included 4 home games in which they only took 4 points. And the referee just took a tumble.
Seeing tackles all over the field.
Yeah. Yeah, work that. Do refs, does the AR wear shin guard? He should. Service into the air towards Segbers. I mean, I've seen the center referee take some hits. The AR, that one was a little unique.
The fourth is just kind of sitting there knowing they're out of harm, but they're not out of verbal harm. They probably take the brunt end of a lot of 90 minutes of thoughts from coaches and players.
Danny Ben? No. Yeah. Never. 2 just really charming gentlemen to talk to, and guys who love the game so much. And we enjoyed, the chats we get to have with them consistently. But make no mistake, they are really competitive. And the fourth official, unfortunately, doesn't know them as charmers so much as competitors.
Once that whistle blows, it is game on. And in a matchup like this, I mean, we talk about maybe the potential playoff matchup between these two sides, but
yeah,
you just see a team for Detroit City that is so difficult defensively. And I know some of the offensive opportunities for Charleston tonight have been turnovers from Detroit City, but overall in the structure itself, in moments like this where you have to break them down, they are very challenging because of the physicality, the ability to be in the right spots in those proper moments. So you know that any edge that you can create, whether it's getting into a tackle at midfield, whether it's creating a free kick, whether it's challenging a player that is sitting on a yellow like a Ryan Williams, those are things that they're going to continue kind of press on.
Chipped ahead here to Blackstock, hits it off his heel to try and keep it in front. Williams stepping in front to hold on to it, but given away on the diagonal through midfield. Rodriguez wide, Martinez crossing, header glancing from MD Myers.
And again, this is an area for the Charleston Battery that they thrive in, their ability to get numbers in advanced areas, get them in good spaces where if it's not the first runner, it's the second or third runner that can get on the end of it. But for Detroit City, they are only magnifying that right now with some of the turnovers they are sprinkling into this match. And that, for Danny Dicchio and his side, has got to be the area that they're going to focus on, obviously, the rest of this half, and maybe going to the break, is cleaning up some of those outlet passes, because they are just causing some of their own issues and their own pressure right now.
Linzati trying to hold off. Get ready for all the exciting postseason action. The USL playoffs presented by Terminix. Kickoff in November. Top teams will battle it out. The ultimate prize. Go to USLChampionship.com for all the latest playoff information. If you're a Detroit fan, here's a quick synopsis of what you're rooting for to finish as high as you can. You do not hold the tiebreaker with Pittsburgh. You do hold it with North Carolina. I say that to say you want Pittsburgh to lose both games, Monterey Bay and Phoenix. You need to win your two games. You jump them. If North Carolina loses to Rhode Island but wins their finale against Loudoun, you could jump them on the head-to-head tiebreaker. Rhode Island, you want them to win against North Carolina but lose their finale so that you could jump them, and then you can finish in fifth. Really the prize right now, don't finish 7th or 8th. Given how the season's played out, the gap between 1 and 2 and everybody else is everyone is talking about that East and West, that the gap between Louisville and Charleston points-wise and everybody else is fairly staggering. Tulsa's opened something similar now in the West, but you would due respect to Hartford's run, Loudoun's Magic, North Carolina and Pittsburgh, you would really much rather run into one of those teams, even if it's on the road, than have to come back to Charleston or go to Louisville in the first round. Get all that?
Yeah, I was going to say, well said, my friend. That was well mapped out and clearly stated. The scenarios were clear, and to the point of Lou City and Charleston Battery, I mean, these are two teams that obviously we look at last season, and you looked at both these teams, you just wondered how they could get better. And they did.
They did.
Both these teams. I mean, they were just electric all season. Obviously, Lou City just tightened the screws defensively. And now, with that offensive output, have just become so challenging to play and break down. And the Charleston Battery just have this sustained identity, this selflessness to them that, and we talked about the adaptability positionally, that makes them a challenge to prepare for.
Yeah. I remember talking to Ben Pierman in April. And they had 2 losses in their first 3, North Carolina and Louisville. And I said, hey, where do you sort of stand right now? And he goes, it's not about right now. We want to peak in October. And with 14 goals in their last 5 games and the run that they're on, and only 1 loss at home, I think you can argue they are in fact peaking in October. Segbers commits the foul. Of course, if you fall to Detroit here tonight, and then you have to go on the road to Sacramento, things could get hinky in a hurry. They finish with Birmingham, a team that's already eliminated, but a regional rival of sorts. I think that's one last chance to tell Jay Heaps and Mark Briggs that you deserve a new deal if you're a Legion player. It's Williams over the ball on this free kick with 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Malloy out of harm's way. And a chance to reload. The numbers are still forward. Williams hammers this cross field. Amu Mensah down, hit by Guinzotti, could steer it toward frame, out to Landry. And Williams will go again through Wheat. But now you get the numbers falling back.
And that's a big play from Aaron Malloy to be in a position where he can intervene, prevent anything more dangerous from happening. And good service from Ryan Williams. Good attack here.
Free kick, they're going to bring it back. Williams nearly got taken out as well, but to Charleston's benefit, they take it back to the initial foul, which is about 10 yards further away from goal.
And this is a better attacking spell from Detroit City. They have been assertive, they've been aggressive, they've been decisive. They've done a lot of the possessing at midfield in terms of not having to build through the back, where we've seen some of those turnovers kind of hurt them. But what they've also done is not always had to rely on passes to break lines. They've done it on the dribble, and when you do it on the dribble, then you do move defenders, because you have to leave, you have to vacate your space to go engage, defend 1v1, and you get this deep free kick.
To say this would be ambitious, particularly against a player like Zamudio who's in good form, is an understatement. They do go for goal. It does end up wide.
It's just one of those challenging distances, because you could try to clip it in right behind the defensive box, or you could try to take from distance, and it neither kind of high percentage.
Duve 7 goals last year in Lexington, 15 the year prior. That was all in League One. Ooh. Archer put under pressure by Guinzotti. Now Detroit has won it. Chapman inside. Malloy there to recover. And Myers spins it wide. Rodriguez. And they force Charleston to boot it long. This runs all the way down past Blackstock. The Battery are back in action here at Patriots Point October 25th. They take on Birmingham Legion. Tickets for that match are on sale now via SeatGeek, the official ticket provider of the Battery. You can get yours now. So that sort of regional rivalry game closes out the regular season. And then Charleston will host at least one playoff game, and if they win a second here at Patriots Point, the following first 2 weeks of November. And should Louisville fall, they could host the conference final as well. Landry. That's why I put the netting up there, Eric.
And that's a moment that you won't hear me yell shoot because the channel wasn't there. Obviously the balance there.
Upgrade.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That is a moment where you have the numbers to upgrade and put yourself in a position to earn better space, especially when you're coming across a ball like that.
Ball kicked away from Yamazaki. 2 players down for Detroit. I don't think anyone's going to escape here without a black and blue mark somewhere on their body.
This almost looks like 2 teammates coming together here towards the end, both trying to make a play on the ball. And that deep throw in.
Yamazaki made his name in the League One. Come on well for the team in the back half of the year. Applies further pressure. He's on a 1-year deal with the club. Ooh, Danny still has it.
He would tell you never left.
Yeah, that's right. Class doesn't graduate.
Yeah.
Danny was a fun player to watch. 17-year pro career, Sunderland, QPR, West Brom, Millwall, Preston, North End, and now the Detroit manager still got the kicks. The players definitely look over and go, oh, yeah, all right. No, he knows what he's doing.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
That's probably what the smile was about too.
Let me show these youngins.
Yep. This is how you bring down a ball.
Not even wearing boots
Yeah.
and dress shoes. I still stunt on all of you. Good job, Danny. Hang it in the Louvre. Danny Dicchio actually ended his career, as many know, at Toronto. He scored the first goal in their club history and was actually sent off in the same game. Talk about living at the end of a lightning bolt. Landry. Driven in by Blackstock, turned away. And a little pushing and shoving. Jennings and Amu Mensah becoming rather friendly. That is the most follically driven center back forward rivalry in the league right now. Look at that, Lennox. Are you kidding me?
I'm envious.
I know you.
Yeah, I've got absolutely none of that. And he's
got enough for the both.
Yeah, yeah. That's, and he leads the Golden Boot race.
I know. He's got it all. Final minutes of this first half. Youth making an intriguing run, couldn't play it in. Sagber's offers back. Apanonu available behind. Instead, Blackstock charged into the pressure. Does eventually find Apanonu in that back line. did find it interesting that Sepp Guinzotti got just his 5th start of the season here tonight. Detroit making a number of moves, perhaps well aware that this is the tougher of the 2 games remaining on paper and maybe going that route. Guinzotti actually has the most goal contributions of any Battery opponent in the modern era of the championship. 11 goal contributions in 20 games. And perhaps ironically, 9 of those, make that 11 of those, beg your pardon, came while he was a member of the Tampa Bay Rowdies under the current Battery president, Lee Cohen's tutelage, when he was the GM there. And I'm sure Detroit fans have already gotten a feel for it, but you talk to Lee Cohen and even Neil Collins, his former manager there in Tampa Bay, and they say, this is the guy you build a franchise around. This is the ideal face of a club. And even at the age of 34, coming off a couple years in which he scored 16 goals in 2 campaigns with Indy 11, not playing as many minutes this year, still without a goal contribution this year, contributing in so many other ways in Detroit. Into stoppage time. We got another 2 minutes to go. MUSC Health Sports Medicine stoppage time. All charged into the box. It's a heavy touch by Jennings, although it was a big ask for him to bring that in. Malloy intervenes. Myers plays back. Malloy dishes wide. Down the line. Martinez circulates. The cross got high of Herrera and gets knotted out by Yamazaki. It's corner. A Pepper Law Firm corner.
And well earned from Charleston Battery. They are creating those overloads, getting multiple players in the half space. Now you get this late corner, and Detroit City needs to stay switched on.
Glancing away. Segbers didn't fancy a chance. Martinez trying to cut the corner. Push. That should put us on the precipice of halftime. The concern that Apanonu is down, saying a hand came up from Bryant, caught him. And that'll take us into the intermission. Scoreless here at the break.
And for Detroit City, structure defensively has been great, but now can they turn that into some transition moments? Can they find some chances where they can jump the field, they can climb the field in areas where they can cause some turnovers? And then for Charleston Battery, continue to find that balance between the patience and the urgency, that composure in some of the unrelenting chaos they're causing.
A point does give you a little more clarity on paths going into the final day of the season, but it's certainly not what Detroit came here for. They have held the leading offense in the championship without many genuine chances. The Battery and Detroit are scoreless at halftime. Tonight's game presented by Charleston Southern University. Back in a moment.
Charleston is located in the low country of South Carolina.
The history here, it runs deep, and you can't imagine being anyplace else.
When things heat up, you don't just want a cold one. You want the coldest one. The cold lagered, cold filtered, cold packaged one. Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
NRDNASC is a genomic screening research program. If we can identify a specific genetic factor that's involved, we can intensify the screening with an effort to prevent cancer and heart disease.
The NRDNA project is really a unique opportunity for individuals across the state to participate in genetic testing. That's another way to help provide data and research so we can learn more about the underlying causes of certain health conditions.
Declare your purpose at Charleston Southern University, offering a wide range of undergraduate degree programs, including majors like aeronautics, engineering, business, and education. CSU is committed to providing you with a biblical worldview and a cutting-edge education. The campus experience includes Division I athletics, small class sizes, intramural sports, and more, all at the only Christian university in the Lowcountry of South Carolina. Join the Buccaneer family and apply today at charlestonsouthern.edu.
When things heat up, you don't just want a cold one. You want the coldest one. The cold lagered, cold filtered, cold packaged one. Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
It should be a surprise to nobody that there are clean sheets on both sides when Bucky is in net. The Charleston Southern University mascot has cannons for biceps. Scoreless here at the break. Izzy Sullivan breaking down the advantages of being a Charleston Battery season ticket member. Take it away, Izzy.
Battery fans, first dibs on the best seats in the house start with becoming a 2026 season member. With a season membership, you can unlock the most savings and flexibility for match tickets. Let's break it down. Get it, life happens. You might not make it to every home match, but the best part about being a season member is your tickets are never wasted. You can easily transfer tickets to friends or family. Yes, even that friend who doesn't know the difference between a goal kick and a corner kick. You can post them for resale to another fan, or you can take advantage of our flexible ticket exchange program. Move your tickets to a future home game. And the best part is you get 17 tickets with your membership and the freedom to use them however you want, which saves you money compared to buying game by game. More money for you know, stadium beers and pizza. On top of the flexibility, we want to reward our most loyal fans with the lowest price tickets, with savings of up to 50%. But don't wait too long, prices jump on February 13th. Plus, with interest-free payment plans, you can spread out your member payments before the season kicks off. Basically, it's Netflix, but instead of binging shows, you're binging battery goals. It doesn't stop there. Season members also enjoy 15% off merchandise and beverages. You'll also unlock priority parking, no more parking in like another zip code, exclusive invites to member events like kickoff parties and open trainings, and early access to playoff tickets and US Open Cup tickets. And not to mention some pretty awesome season member gifts. So lock in your 2026 season memberships today. Save money, score the best seats in the house, and make match days unforgettable.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Get double points this fall at Best Western.
Whoa, termites can eat a pound of wood a day. 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 What's wrong, Daddy? Daddy? You okay?
Keep termites out of your home and your head with our premium guarantee that covers up to $250,000 in new termite damage. Before panic shows up, Terminix it.
Today, we accomplished nothing. I mean it, not a thing. And it was kinda everything. Get double points this fall at Best Western.
Leans back, hits one further! What a hit!
Here's Wilson! He stays out, and the Roots have a lead!
USL All Access on SiriusXM FC every Tuesday night. Devin Kerr, Mike Watts, we've got all the news around the championship.
This series is a dead heat.
This is the one we've talked about since the end of May.
We'll recap weekly results, talk about player transactions, coaching tactics, and hey, maybe even a guest appearance by some interviews.
Who knows? SiriusXM FC every Tuesday night and the following day on the USL YouTube page and the SiriusXM app.
It's great to win against an MLS team, but we'll do that any Wednesday, any Saturday.
It's our house. No one comes into our house and beats us.
If you're against us, it's not going to be good for you. But if you're with us, it's the greatest day you ever had.
The Kings of Chaos strike again.
They create such a loud environment, flags waving, chants.
When the team plays, it's like we're going into battle with them. It's always sort of that New Mexico underdog story, just waiting to happen.
Hola.
¿Alguna otra cerveza?
No, Michelob Ultra.
Ok, ahora vuelvo. Mr. Messi.
Michelob Ultra, Cerveza Light Superior.
Halftime here in Charleston. My goodness, there's a pitch invader. They say it's a joyous gift from the sun. I can't believe it. Sunboy is just blowing up this halftime game. Someone get this coconut off the field. Arms behind your back, you're going to the clink. Scoreless at halftime. Mike and Eric, here's news and notes presented by Best Western. Congratulations to Danny Cruz, James O'Connor, and the folks at Louisville City, back-to-back Players' Shields.
Unbelievable. We mentioned it in the first 45 of this match that how could this team get better? They've set so many records in 2024. They tightened the screws defensively, 19 goals against compared to the 43 last year. Unbelievable job in both boxes.
Incredible. They're the 1 seed in the East. Tulsa #1 in the West will get their first ever home playoff game if they play their cards right. They've guaranteed 3 of them as far as they can advance in the West. And then Rubio Rabin called up by Guatemala for the critical upcoming World Cup qualifying fixtures. Here's the upcoming schedule brought to you by Best Western Hotels and Resorts. And some big games tonight. Rhode Island is critical as it pertains to Detroit. Loudoun going for home field advantage. Indy trying to stay alive. Colorado Springs at the line against cellar-dwelling Las Vegas. Tampa Bay, if they upset Hartford, you've got danger for Detroit as they try and reach the playoffs. And then later tonight and tomorrow, Miami and Legion is a toilet bowl. Phoenix and San Antonio is a big one at the playoff line. Orange County sprung ahead of a number of teams with a win against San Antonio midweek. And then New Mexico, Oakland should be fun.
Yeah, late win for Orange County SC. Vaulted them right above the playoff line, but needed to sustain that to finish out the season.
So fun games coming up around the championship, and I think there's goal in this game. The Battery and Detroit, 0-0 at halftime. We'll show you the first half highlights, as many as we had, and send you to the second 45 after this.
returned to the field, scored the winning shot, beat your personal record. Team up with MUSC Health Sports Medicine for all your sports-related injury care and rehabilitation. MUSC Health is the official sports medicine provider for your favorite local teams. From semi-pro athletes to weekend warriors, our sports medicine team provides state-of-the-art injury prevention, treatment, surgery, and rehabilitation for athletes of all ages. Go where the pros go. Schedule an appointment today.
30 years of covering the Low Country, I know what your home means to you. Hi everyone, I'm Dean Stevens, and when it comes to heating and air or plumbing needs, I call Fix It 24/7. Why? This team is old school. Do things the right way. They care. Whatever it takes to get the job done. I've seen it firsthand and why they call it legendary service. Nothing but the best for a legendary city. More than 500 five-star reviews, and I'm obviously not alone in how I feel. The next time you need service, go to fixmyhome247.com and click the Book Now button.
The USL on CBS is presented by Best Western Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel partner of the United Soccer League. Beautiful look at the bridge overseeing Patriots Point here tonight. Charleston Southern University presents our coverage as the Battery and Detroit City.
Half, Arturo Rodriguez again on that service. We see the possession numbers in heavy favor of the Charleston Battery, but for right now, a lot of that possession is through the back and through the midfield, where they are having a lot of success offensively. The Charleston Battery is when they cause some of that turnover, those turnovers, that havoc for Detroit City in their build, and they already have good numbers in and around the box. They're able to attack, they're decisive, they're clever in those moments. They just have not been able to find that final action that finds the breakthrough.
Halftime stats brought to you by Gildan. Changes at halftime. We'll see Seba Guinzati come off. Jacil Cedeno is coming on for Detroit. Change incoming, been told, for Charleston as well. Take a look at the live standings in the East. With the point, this would see Charleston up to 59. Only one game remaining for Louisville. Following tonight, they play at 10 p.m. out in Orange County. 2 games inclusive of the Wednesday game for Charleston, so they can't catch first or be caught by third. And then here's what it looks like at the line. This point would put them 4 points out of Indy. It would mean Indy needs to get a result here tonight. And then Tampa Bay would be 6 back, but they did beat Detroit earlier this year. So the Rowdies are fine with this result, because if they won their final 2 games, and don't get me wrong, Hartford's been great. There's a big ask there, and then you'd obviously have to handle a home game against Detroit. You could find your way into the playoffs, because that tiebreaker would go your way. Rubio Rabin coming in off the bench. Has obviously been a nice spark for this Battery team since signing mid-season. Rubio Rabin was with Tim Daniels, the former assistant San Diego, current assistant here for Charleston. That helped bring him in after a 3-year stint Real Salt Lake and a brief spell at Querétaro in Mexico. 7 goal contributions in 550 minutes. That's pretty good. Detroit gets the first touch of the second half. Here we go. Win for Charleston would push that unbeaten home run to 13 in the league. Win for Detroit would put them in the playoffs, and Blackstock takes a very early knock.
Right off kickoff. Get yourself into that tackle, and unfortunately hobbled. Blackstock saw heavy involvement throughout that first half. His ability to work off of the runs for Arturo Rodriguez. See this ball clipped in. Looks like he gets caught on that right ankle. He's walking it off, but clearly in some discomfort and pain.
We need to go find where these horns are and just pep them up a little bit. I know you're used to 3 goals every time you come to Patriots Point, but I mean...
Yeah, they're a little non-committal right now.
No, you need to get in the game here.
Lack a little rhythm as well.
Many would say that about our commentary, so I suppose we shouldn't, you know, beggars can't be choosers. Now multiply that sound by what, 50,000, you have the South Africa World Cup.
It's so fascinating to hear people's opinions about those in terms of just the sound itself. And
Vuvuzelas, yeah.
Some are all about it.
Yeah, let's call it divisive. It was very divisive. I mean, at no point did the game lose its edge. So you had that going for you. It's a nice dissecting ball into the wide area. Yamazaki being put under pressure. Landry ahead and kept in by Herrera, although came up a little bit lame. The way he stumbled into that ball didn't look all that pleasant, and all that to not save it anyways. Now you add the tambourine and it sounds a little more rhythmic.
Just getting a little warmed up before.
Yeah.
Early on in the second half.
Now you go spend a couple minutes in the...
There you go.
Oh, now I know who this is, and that's commitment. If you're in, you're in. Let's do this. Great job, guys.
It's always if you're the fan without one next to one.
Yeah, yep. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, should you stand at a sporting event when the people behind you have to look? Yeah. Well, hindsight 2020. You know, when I watched The Who at the Super Bowl, I was disappointed because I expected to see The Who and I got what I got. But if I went to a middle school band performance, I'd go, wow, this is great. The same scenario just played out a little bit, I think. Maybe my expectations should have been a little different, understanding now who was holding the instrument. Saved by the Bell. Battery matches are the perfect place to make lifelong memories with your friends and family. Your group of 10 or more can enjoy discounted tickets, exclusive on-field experiences, and private hospitality areas to catch the match. Visit charlestonbattery.com to learn more. Plan a memorable night at Patriots Point. Vuvuzelas not included. Turn to Apanonu. I think you have to be really impressed by how he's come along this year. Comes in from Hartford.
And throughout the season, this has been a playmaking back line. I mean, their influence, not only just winning their duels defensively, because that's become the role of defenders, goalkeepers. I mean, you even talk about leading from the front line defensively, the Cal Jennings, the MD Myers, what they have to do off the ball. But Panonu's playmaking ability on the ball, his ability to break lines, the vision, the bravery to play through some of those narrowest of margins, and obviously Leland Archer being another one of those. It really allows and enhances the opportunity of these outside backs to insert themselves in the attacking third in a timely fashion, because sometimes it's disjointed, sometimes it's interrupted, but they are able to get on the ball and make sure that it is built through, and those cues and those recognitions are spot on.
LaFleur. LaFleur leading across. Malloy, perfect position. Would you rather see advantage played? They allowed it to play, and then as Malloy broke play up, they bring this back. That was really good, patient officiating.
It was. Let it develop, but not develop too far where it's just gone too long. You see the step here, and they're coming together with Shane Weed. And the play that leads to this sequence is something that I would think that both these teams want to see a bit more of here in the second half, is some of that counterattacking ability. We just did not see any of it from both teams. Now, I've said it in the past, and I'll kind of say it again, the Charleston Battery have caused some havoc in the turnovers in the defensive third, in Detroit City's defensive third, their attacking third, so they haven't had to go the length of the field in some of those counterattacking opportunities. Where Detroit City, they've had a couple outlets, but both these teams structurally, defensively, have gotten so many numbers behind the ball and so compact that it's just not provided that outlet you're looking for.
Williams offering for Detroit. He's offering a bit more Archer than probably hoped. The range over, hits it long, and Amu Mensah intervening. Cedeno certainly adds a bit of pop off the bench, has started the vast majority of his appearances this year. 7th substitute appearance out of 28.
Playing deep right now, but is typically a player that is sitting right below those forwards. Sometimes when you've just seen yourself inserted in the game, can you get some of those early touches? Can you get some of that early influence? Get the opponent to recognize that you are going to be finding the ball, and you're going to try to get yourself on the ball as often as possible.
Squared, given away, chip toward goal, knocked down by Zamudio. Maybe it's just a hex on that side of the field, but it has not been clean coming out of this left-hand side.
Yeah, the first half for Detroit City saw at least 3 chances like that created, where it was just turnover and nothing where it was high pressure, high quality in terms of the numbers around the ball. And they're the same thing, just have to be extremely tidy in some of those moments that feel like it's just a casual pass and get applied pressure and a turnover.
Loy wide, whipped, header. Steered off frame. Jennings was in the midst of it alongside Amu Mensah and went down. Goal kick for Herrera. They'll find the nearest Select ball. Select proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. The academy to the big leagues. Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com. The latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Kept in by Langston Blackstock. Wheat. Maybe it went down easily. At least that's what Detroit thinks. Foul won by Blackstock.
Blackstock putting himself in a position. Himself the ball between the player, the defender, making sure that Jay Chapman only had one choice, and that was to go through the back. That's an area for Detroit City. I mean, Jay Chapman, I mean, he had the chance early in the first half from distance. Besides that, haven't seen his involvement in the attacking half of the field. I don't imagine you want that to grow.
Header down, advantage played. What a hit. Myers off the mark. They're going to bring this back to show the yellow card. 2 players are down. Amu Mensah goes into the book for a crunching tackle.
Amu Mensah just absolutely comes through the player. And
is that not Bryant? Oh, there's, okay,
Yep.
The first one. I'm like, wait a minute.
We said it a few moments ago, this is really good officiating because you let the play continue, obviously missing frame, but then you do go back and address the yellow card.
They gave 2 yellow cards. They gave Amu Mensah and Bryant yellows. That's wild.
2 of your 3 center backs are now on yellows and have to make plays.
Well, and you got them on the same play, and both were deemed worthy of advantage because they didn't end the threat. Zamudio.
Maybe there is something along this side of the field because this has been some nervy moments building out of the back for Charleston Battery, and it's just been this last few minutes. Seemed like it became a lot more complicated than it needed to be.
Charging into the box, contact came outside of it. Ultimately, the referee doesn't deem a foul of any kind. Chapman takes over. Chapman through. Diouf tight angle. Blocked by Apanonu, came over.
And good first touch. You put the defender in a situation where they've got to try to make a play, and obviously gets it right.
I mean, the referee thinks so. I think that arm's out. I probably would have blown a whistle on that, but it's also outside the penalty area.
Yeah, I was going to
anyway.
say, either way, it would have been a free kick outside the box, so you're not that necessarily it should include itself in that decision in terms of whether it's a PK or outside, but you are right. And that second wave, such a big play from Apanonu, so quick to step out. Sure, he closed that channel and minimized any sort of additional threat.
We're trying to get back on side. Detroit felt like they took Charleston to the wire at Keyworth. One of the better teams they've seen at home this year. Felt like they played fairly well. The first meeting, a Battery win. Andy Dicchio telling us they've been talking about this moment in the season for quite some time in Detroit. Win and in territory. 4 games where they could have put themselves into the playoff field officially, maybe even jousted for a home game. But that moment passed. Chance for them to try and finish the job here tonight. A point does carry some value. And the results elsewhere could put them in the playoff field by their lonesome as well. But they'd like to do it of their own volition here with the early start tonight and make for a chill night down on the riverfront if they could.
Yeah, I know how it feels to score watch, and you also take that moment where you take a step back and you realize you have no control over what happens in that match. So you want to make sure that you take care of what's right in front of you and make sure that after this match then you could score watch, but also know that the performance you've put together has earned the result you were looking for. And that's the thing for Detroit City, is for all the ebbs and flows that they've experienced through this season, they are right there in the thick of it, in the conversation. Good run, good ball.
Landry whipping this across, caught by Herrera. By the way, the games they'd be watching, one is starting right now, Tampa Bay and Hartford. They're looking to see Tampa Bay drop points in that game. That would be enough. The Rowdies need to win both. And then Indy and Loudoun. Again, Indy drops points. They do not hold the tiebreaker on Detroit. Pushing ahead. Rodriguez. That ricocheted out over the end line for a corner kick.
Mentioned earlier, Blackstock's involvement in the first half. Arturo Rodriguez has found himself on the ball a number of times in different areas. You saw him occupy the left side, the right side, and then now he's going to find some space centrally. Put himself on the ball here.
Pepper Law Firm corner kick for the Battery. Rubio Rabin alongside Arturo Rodriguez if he wants to go short. Play a 2-man game. Rodriguez will ping it long. Back post header, Malloy down and kicked by Bryant into the stands. Another corner.
Right idea from Aaron Malloy to put this right back into the mix. But this touch from MD Myers, he's arriving into that space as the ball arrives, so it takes that bit of a heavier touch, gets away from him.
Header glancing and in! Hammered home! MD Myers! His 15th of the year, he's one off the Golden Boot. The breakthrough Charleston had been waiting for comes 65 minutes into the match.
And he does it with replicating the space that he just occupied, but from the opposite side. And this time he finds himself wide open, obviously continuing to move his feet, continuing to find himself in that space. Obviously Jay Chapman trying to get himself in between the ball and the goal, but MD Myers, the initial run that takes the defender towards the ball and then the wraparound is what unlocks that space. He just needs the slightest touches to tuck it away.
Well, now the concern starts to step in here for Detroit. That Battery goal brought to you by Diamonds Direct, the official jeweler of the Battery. By the way, one off the Golden Boot means Cal Jennings, his teammate. Ball into the box, lifted into the air. Carried into the width. Landry upfield. Rabin. The tiebreaker for the Golden Boot, assists. Jennings has 6, Myers has 4. Diouf! Detroit responds instantaneously! A win puts them in the playoffs, and Detroit equalizing with plenty of time remaining in Charleston.
And a collective press here from Detroit City. Good ball from Cedeno, laid off from Chapman. And Diouf gets this strike all right. Wraps it around not only his defender, but gets it around Zamudio, who is in good position, but the strike and the finish and the texture on that ball just have so much class. What a response, what an equalizer.
Well, as quick as Charleston pulled ahead, the Battery able to grab that goal right back. A win tonight for Tampa Bay and a draw for Charleston sets up a potential win and in for the Rowdies next week, pending what Indy does when those two sides, Detroit and Charleston, Detroit and Tampa Bay, meet head to head. They did not want to essentially start the playoffs in St. Pete next week, but it is a very real possibility. And they've given themselves the lifeline they need to potentially put an end to any consternation right here.
And the Rowdies, one of those teams in the East that have just navigated a tough early stretch. Obviously saw the coaching change, but they have put together some consistent results that put them in the position they're in now, where they don't necessarily control their own destiny. They do not.
Not yet.
Yep, they've got to get some help, but my goodness, what a decision day that would be if you come down to that last game, and for all that you've gone through.
Dominic Casciato leaving Union Omaha, where he led a League One dynasty, to take over for Tampa Bay, and has them just hanging around. The bottom of both conferences has done very little to push themselves over the line. 1 win in 5 for Detroit. In the West, I've jokingly termed it the Great Western Pillow Fight. Everyone's sort of losing in unison and looking at each other going, oh, you didn't take it this week? All right, we'll push it off for another week.
You know, we thought for a couple weeks there that Colorado Springs Switchbacks were going to be that team that surge.
Looked like it.
And now they've kind of hit a bit of a rough stretch of form, and Orange County now in a good position. Phoenix Rising have put themselves right in the thick of it. What a match last night with Lexington and Sacramento Republic. I mean, you look at a 2-2 scoreline, and obviously 4 goals is 4 goals. Don't discredit that, but in the fashion that they were scored, you talk about drama.
Lexington a week ago was talking about potentially hosting a home playoff game. They were in last place in June. Seeing a bit of space to get a cross away. Jennings could get no closer. The Battery back in action here at Patriots Point October 25th. Next Saturday, they take on Birmingham Legion. Tickets for that match are on sale now via SeatGeek, official ticket provider of the Battery. Reminder that soccer season's still very much here. SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more. The #1 ticketing site. That's SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. 20 minutes to go. When you want a ticket to this, Myers trying to sweep through. Amu Mensah arrives in the nick of time. Pulled down by Blackstock. Malloy. Out of the reach of Myers. He gives a little extra shove at the end of that. Myers needs to be really careful. He picked up that really cheap early yellow card. The fact he's going to walk away from that frustration foul, he's a little bit lucky here. Would not be surprised if MD Myers comes off here soon. You do not want to put him at risk.
I would agree 100%, because when you play in these tight spaces in the box, you're going to incur some of these physical battles. Obviously, this one being after the fact, and Myers needing to be careful, and you know that that's going to be a situation that presents itself again. Obviously, there has to be, you're trusting the player, and you know that Ben Pierman trusts his players, and that's where you know that play like that's after the ball goes out of play. For MD Myers, you have to be careful, you have to be measured, because you've now put yourself at the front of the center official's mind from here on out.
Malloy, it's one tug too many. Detroit becoming quite combative here at the end. And look, Myers is the one who gets suckered into it, but make no mistake, the player pumps the brakes really hard and made a meal out of it.
Yeah, when you see that ball running over the end line, you pump the brakes like that, and you know that forward's right on the back. You kind of bait them into a decision after the play.
I mean, look, play the game. I don't have a problem with it. But that's something Myers, he's been around long enough, he knows that. You don't want to lose your edge, but you also picked up a yellow card inside like 10 minutes.
And what we're seeing from Charleston Battery right now is a lot of those threaded balls into tight spaces into the final third. So you're going to continue to get that shoulder-to-shoulder battle. And you saw Amu Mensah, obviously he's on a yellow, but he makes that sliding intervention to block the shot. So you're going to see a lot of bodies flying around in both boxes, but particularly for the Charleston Battery, they are finding some of those probing passes in those fine margins. That's going to be something that now do you not necessarily sit out of the box and now let that be Cal Jennings' area, but you definitely have to pick and choose your battles.
Fouls on Jennings. There's subs coming for Charleston. I don't know that MD Myers is going to be one of the players coming off here. Talk about trusting your guy.
Yeah. And even that play right to the corner for Cal Jennings. Obviously, Cal Jennings not on a yellow, but still an example of those 1v1 duels that you're going to see in some of these final moments as we see out this second half. And especially for two teams that at 1-1, there is absolutely no question that you're going to see a thunderous push to find that game winner.
the way down. Martinez. There is value to a point tonight, make no mistake. There is very much value to a point, especially if Indy 11 fails to take the full allotment.
And that's going to be that fascinating balance that we're going to have to see from Detroit City and Danny Dicchio's group. How much do you open yourself up and available to possibly concede with your desire to go after a second goal? I mean, you have done a tremendous job of responding to conceding MD Meyer's goal and then just turning around and equalizing. I mean, not even allowing Charleston Battery a few moments to try to sustain momentum, and that's exactly what you want to see from a group that is hungry to make a playoff. We do see the changes come for Charleston Battery.
Public substitution for the Battery. A great sub deserves another. Order your favorite Publix subs. Your next tailgate party at Publix.com. Graham Smith has only featured off the bench, the defender of the year last year, the past 2 games. His last start came in the 3-3 draw home against Oakland back on September 13th. Missed the last game. Naturally had the bye week before that, so trying to get Graham as healthy as possible. Sub coming here, Jordan Adebayo Smith in for Diouf, who scored the equalizer back in the 67th minute. And that is a kit man's nightmare at Diouf's jersey. He's leaving with plenty of Charleston's field on his back. Second sub for Detroit. Chipped ahead, flick toward frame. Rubio Rabin, Herrera. Quick distribution out the other side.
Let's see what the addition of Graham Smith to this game does for this back line in the midfield.
His longest stint in a game in over a month. All the while, Detroit sitting Stephen Carroll, their all-league center back. Alex Villanueva available off the bench. It's a really intriguing lineup that Danny Dicchio put out. And a foul committed by Detroit.
That's going to be frustrating just from the fact of the space that you're occupying, the ability to climb in that moment from Shane Wheat. That is a situation that you do want to replicate. You do want to force Charleston Battery into some of these turnovers, possibly not have to create a situation where you are expanded and do leave some of those counterattacking areas available. Can you win it in transition? Can you then go down the field, especially when you already have Adebayo Smith and Darren Smith up top, higher in those areas?
Battery could put the kibosh on Detroit's playoff hopes for at least another week. Detroit trying to take at least a valuable point, if not a clinching win tonight. 10 minutes to play. Can't watch the match? You can turn on SiriusXM FC 157. It's North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk. That includes USL All Access on Tuesday nights, plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more. This ball lobbed across and out. That is all on SiriusXM FC 157 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
I think I know the hosts of that show.
Yep, Devin's usually there. That's why the Detroit fans tune in every week.
And this is where if this game does finish level, you're absolutely right with the 1 point, and it does apply pressure on the Rowdies and Indy 11. They already had the pressure to go get a result, but you go and look and picking up a point on the road to a team that has been one of those two teams in the East that have just set the pace from the word go. That says something.
You know, I even think back, remember when the New England Patriots had the undefeated regular season? The last game that they played was against the New York Giants. The Giants they hung in there. They lost the game, but they looked back on that a month later and said, well, that's proof. This from long range. I mean, you want to talk about trying to take the entire game on your shoulders. Jordan Adebayo-Smith almost took the entire championship world off its axis.
Yeah, this touch just gets away from Leland Archer. Adebayo-Smith, terrific vision to see how far Zamudio was off his line. And typically that is a situation where you do have a goalkeeper higher because you're in possession. Just one of those awkward situations where ball bounces away from you, but clever from Adebayo-Smith, just unable to get that to dip at the right time.
What is happening on that side of the field? You cross over midfield and it's like the ball's got like a negative magnetic force.
Yeah, it is very strange that it's been both halves.
Appealing for a foul, Cedeno goes unhurt. Skims off that of Blackstock. Circles back to Zamudio. Spared his blushes by a narrowly elevated Adebayo-Smith effort. Santos offers in 6.5 minutes. Detroit knows all about what it means to put together the right result at the right time over these past couple of seasons. Their first home game in the playoffs in the championship last year. Year prior, finished 8th. Upset Pittsburgh on the road the year they won the Players' Shield. They just want to get a ticket to the dance. And the pressure mounting elsewhere. Tampa Bay Rowdies just took the lead in their match tonight. Ball through. Trying to flick that on Rubio Rabin. Manuel Arteaga scoring 8 minutes in, and the Rowdies lead Hartford Athletic.
And Arteaga has been a player that has seen an uptick in performance. Obviously, we've come to expect some of these big-time moments from him, but he is a player for the Rowdies that has definitely unlocked some of those performances in this recent run of form.
That game over on ESPN Plus, good two-screen experience for those of that subscription's capabilities tonight. And to reiterate, with this point, Detroit would move 6 ahead, but then the Rowdies, if they were to win that game, would be 3 off, and if they were to defeat Detroit in St. Pete next week, would jump Detroit on the tiebreaker head-to-head. Ball leaning back, bit of a shuffle for it. I haven't even gotten into the concept that Indy could, in theory, finish level with both Detroit and Tampa Bay, in which case we're talking about getting into a mini conference, and then you start getting into who's performed better, because the tiebreakers are all over the place. No one holds it over both teams. So it's going to be a long, long night for Nick Murray and the USL League aficionados, operations and such.
Yeah, we should get Devin in on the mathematics of the.
Oh yeah, because Devin loves math. Yeah. No, it's going to get a little hinky. That catch a hand. Ref says no. Blackstock put under immense pressure. Found Myers. Will flick it upfield. Runs past Amu Mensah to the path of Michael Bryant. Change is coming. Stephen Carroll waiting to enter for Detroit City. Play on for a moment. Now they whistle it dead. Well, here comes the 9th-year Detroit City defender, captain of the squad, Stephen Carroll, off the bench. Replaces Yamazaki, intriguingly enough. And they are not going to be able to start play until that sub is made. Oy vey. It could be a really wild decision day for Detroit.
Well, it's incredible for you have such a long season and it comes down to the end and you literally probably get a playoff game for decision day in terms of the Tampa Bay Rowdies hosting Detroit City. I mean, just the way that it has played out. And that's something that once you kind of hit the tail end of this season, when you can influence points in your own conference, because we see some of it in the West and even in the East. If you're not playing a team that's in your conference, you don't have that direct correlation with taking away points from them and then taking.
Right.
If you're playing a team from the East, you're just hoping for the other team to drop points. You can't directly affect what happens in your own conference. But you get a matchup like that on the final weekend.
4th sub coming here for Charleston. That is Blackstock off. Wesley Leggett on. Substitution brought to you by Publix. We love subs. Place to get your favorite Publix subs and all your tailgating needs. Publix.com. Rubin. That's a clean challenge, but an immediate giveaway back to Arturo Rodriguez. Slaloming through midfield, and he got taken off the ball. Chapman. That is a foul from Apanonu.
And in this late juncture of the match, I mean, it's tough because you're asking your team to, now, this is a deeper free kick, so you're asking a lot, but you're still putting pressure on your team and stopping the match, and that's something that Panonu, that tackle on the sideline, now you have to get all the numbers back behind the ball And if you want to go at, now this is a Charleston Battery side that can counter with the best of them.
Williams hits the free kick. First ball away, Amu Mensah brings it in, will circulate it back. Charleston will exhale for a moment. LaFleur, Williams. That did take a deflection, or did it? No one could decide. It is Detroit's. They try and play quick. They were too far up the field relative to where the ball went out. I think they're going to bring that a bit further back.
Yeah,
5 added minutes.
And if that wasn't the case, they might have just let play resume if you're taking it from the appropriate spot. They did have that outlet along that left side.
Fourth official indicating 5 minutes of MUSC Health Sports Medicine stoppage time. So fouls. LaFleur tried to advance, and Wesley Leggett suffers the foul. Leggett making his 3rd appearance for the club, made 14 for Loudoun earlier this year before being acquired. 8 goals a season ago, was a first-choice starter for Loudoun last year, off the bench this year. Apanonu, speared away by Amu Mensah. Into the box again. Ball chopped into the air. Leggett could never quite contemplate the best way to attack it. Adebayo Smith saying he got hampered. Play on.
It almost felt like that ball hung up there forever, never came down. As you mentioned, Leggett was trying to make that next action, make that next decision, just never came down, allowed Detroit City to get back in position. You wonder if just with a few minutes left, can you create just one more good look, a late flurry, if you're the Charleston Battery.
Pinged by Leggett, and that might land in Loudoun County. Past the midway point in stoppage time, going to make that final sub, Ben Pierman is. Jackson Conway coming on for Cal Jennings, who does not add to his league-leading 16 goals tonight, but may advance Charleston to their 19th win, a modern-era record for the club. They had 18 a season ago. If Charleston can find a way to win this game, 59 points would leave them just outside of reach of last year's record result, but would match what they did in 2023 when they went to the final. So positive result, take it to 13 games unbeaten at home since a season opening defeat. That's still 90 seconds away. Can Detroit get one more chance out of this, or are they going to leave it the mercy of others to decide just how scary that final Saturday of the season could be? The Rowdies doing their part. Indy 11 play later tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern time.
And the Rowdies hosting a Hartford Athletics side that are fully determined to be in the top 4 in the East. I mean, the surge in the run that we've seen Brendan Burke's side this latter part of the season since the midway point, I mean, they're going to see this season all the way through and make sure that that is a high topic of conversation, finishing top 4, hosting a playoff game.
That's going to be the next game everyone's going to flip on here. Ball whipped through, Amu Mensah high, Malloy. Malloy got tossed, sent out toward halfway. That might be the final chance of this game. And Detroit City slink back in to defend. There was a sub during stoppage time. They're having trouble getting it off Charleston. That's it, it's full time. It is going to be an agonizing night and perhaps an agonizing week for Detroit City. Another chance to clinch their place in the playoffs goes by the wayside. 13 games unbeaten at home for Ben Pierman's Charleston Battery. And Detroit City still unable to punch their ticket to the postseason. Take a look at tonight's Fix It 24/7 man of the match. MD Myers, we highlighted him pregame, got his 15th goal of the year.
Yeah, off that second wave of a corner kick, just putting himself in that far post position, getting the bounce off of the defender and then beating his defender into that space, able to tuck away the opening goal of this match. It was the response for Detroit City that, you know, they only come away with a point. Got to be pleased with that response.
It finishes 1-1 tonight. Pepper Law Firm presents the full-time score. Wubens Pashis just scored for the Rowdies. They're up 2-0 against Hartford. Nervy times. We'll wrap this one up when we come back.
What do you want? You know, what's that really good non-alcoholic beer I keep hearing about?
Do you have that really great non-alcoholic beer that I keep seeing?
Do you have a non-alcoholic beer that actually
tastes good? It's athletic. You're holding it.
You mean athletic? You're looking at it.
I think you mean athletic.
It's athletic. Ask for it.
NRDNASC is a genomic screening research program. If we can identify a specific genetic factor that's involved, we can intensify the screening with an effort to prevent cancer and heart disease.
The NRDNA project is really a unique opportunity for individuals across the state to participate in genetic testing. That's another way to help provide data and research so we can learn more about the underlying causes of certain health conditions.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
The final score tonight is brought to you by Pepper Law Firm. Charleston and Detroit will split the points. Detroit unable to get into the playoffs. They needed a win tonight. Now they'll look at Indy and Hartford and hope that, well, there are some favors that can be done elsewhere. Take a look at the full-time highlights this evening. And Charleston and Detroit played a pretty tough match at Keyworth earlier in the year. Full-time highlights are presented by Publix. Myers, the first goal.
And you do like some of the assertiveness and the momentum that Charleston took from that first half, and then they open up the second half with getting to that end line, creating some havoc, earning some early corners, and you see the payoff there with the finish from MD Myers. But what a response from Danny Dicchio's group, this outlet from Jay Chapman, and then the finish from Diouf, just curling this around, knowing that the complement of power but also texture is going to not only beat the defender that's in front of him, but a quality goalkeeper in Zamudio. And they equalized and they see this game out at 1. They just were unable to push for the second goal.
Full-time stats from Gildan. Chance for your final thoughts as Charleston outpossesses Detroit 73%, but do not get the win.
Yeah, I thought Detroit was going to be tough to break down, and you saw it throughout the match. They made Charleston work outside in. They did not let them intrude centrally, at least sustain that central presence, and that made it difficult for Charleston Battery to consistently pose a threat in the final third.
And here's what it all means. Louisville the 1, Charleston the 2. Hartford is trailing. Loudoun faces Indy tonight. North Carolina and Rhode Island are currently 0-0. Pittsburgh plays tomorrow. Detroit City, they just have to wait. They are, with live standings, only 3 points ahead of the Rowdies, and if the Rowdies beat them next week, they jump them. Of course, they need to keep the result they have right now, and then could Indy shave the gap and potentially jump them both? Wild times. 1 week remaining in the championship season, and the playoff fight continues. Pepper Law Firm presents tonight's full-time score. For Eric Dobransky, our entire team in Low Country and Beyond, Mike Watts saying, thanks for watching. Charleston, Detroit, 1-1.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.